Әскери самбо қыз балдардың арасында болған жоқ.
Until 2023, combat Sambo, specifically the women discipline, didn't officially exist. I joined the sport right after it was established, and in my very first year, I became the champion of Kazakhstan.
Чемпионатының жеңімпазы болдым. Негізі енді төбелесу ғой ол жерде.
Overall, of course, it's a contact sport with combat elements and its own rules. It's a bit tough for a woman, but if you have a goal and the desire, you can do it.
Мақсатың болса, жана ниетің болса, айналысуға болады. Ұнаса болады. Негізі қазақтың қыздары батыр ғой, батыр, мінезді.
I believe that Kazakh girls are strong, brave, and have character. When they raise the country's flag on the world stage, I am truly proud.
Өзінің ниеттерімен Қазақстанымызды дамытамыз деген сияқты оймен жана алға қарай жүрсе, біз тек қана қуанамыз. Негізі
Sports teach you a lot: patience, endurance, and quick decision-making in difficult situations.
Қиналған сәтте қалай әрекет етуде кейбір оқыс оқиғалар да болып кетеді.
There are difficult situations at work, unforeseen circumstances when decisions must be made in a flash, and any fear must be overcome right in the moment.
Сол оқиғадан шығуға тырысасың, бірақ сол қорқынышты сол мезетте жеңесің ғой. Қазіргі менің негізгі қызмет.
My current job requires a high level of physical fitness. That's why we try to stay in shape. We train constantly.
Сай, енді барынша біз спорттық деңгейде дайын жүруге тырысамыз, күнделікті дайындаламыз. Тәртіп.
Discipline and order are extremely important. Everything starts with discipline. Without it, success is impossible.
Келісе алмаймын. Алтынға әрине.
Of course, I'm aiming for a gold medal. God willing, in 2027, I want to once again become the Kazakhstan champion in combat Sambo and then compete in the Asian and World Championships and win gold there.
Әлем чемпионатына барып алтын аламыз деген бір үлкен мақсат бар.
Until 2023, women's combat Sambo remained on the fringes without official recognition. But the moment the doors to this demanding discipline opened, Kuralay Kabyraykyzy was the first to step through. More precisely, she kicked them wide open. This seemingly fragile athlete made history in Kazakhstan, winning the country's first national championship in women's combat Sambo. Then she defended her title at the second championship and held on to the gold at the third All-Kazakhstan Championship as well. She is also an Asian medalist and the bronze medalist at the 2024 World Championships held in Astana. In general, training in combat Sambo has its own unique characteristics. Unlike other forms of wrestling, it incorporates striking techniques and even includes chokeholds. That's why the training program is twice as intense. Why was women's combat Sambo officially approved only a few years ago? Because unlike classic sport Sambo, where clean wrestling and throwing techniques dominate, combat Sambo has virtually no limits. It combines grappling with powerful strikes, fists, elbows, kicks, knees, and even the head are all in play. This is a sport of maximum intensity where a single precise blow can bring a fight to a decisive and spectacular end.
Енді үлкен бір ауыр жарақат менде болған жоқ.
I didn't suffer any serious injuries. They were minor ones that I could endure. But even with minor injuries, we get treatment, recover, and then prepare for the next competition. Sometimes, of course, you need time to rest.
Дайындалып, мысалға, сәл кейде болады, демалу керек уақыттар болады, жарақат алып қалған кезде. Соның бәрін емдеп, жазылып, келесі жарысқа біз дайын тұрамыз ғой. Негізі,
when it comes to defeating an opponent, it's all about preparation and individual technique. Every athlete has their own moves. If you analyze them carefully, you'll understand how to act more effectively and how to build your strategy. You have 5 minutes for the match, and during that time, you need to understand your opponent and adapt.
5 минут бізге беріледі ғой күрескен кезде. Сол кезде енді жаңа қарсыласқа да байланысты болып келеді.
For decades, combat Sambo remained a male-dominated domain. It was believed that such a level of physical contact was incompatible with a woman's nature. But in 2023, the sports world acknowledged that women are both capable of and ready to compete under the same rigorous rules. And Kuralay was one of those who demonstrated that in this martial art, character and skill come first, and gender is secondary.
Қазір самбо және жауынгерлік самбо қыздар арасында
Sambo, and specifically combat Sambo, is currently experiencing rapid growth among women. The number of female competitors is steadily increasing and their level of training is very high. Although this discipline was only introduced in 2023, women are already achieving impressive results at the World and Asian Championships.
қатысамыз. Өте үлкен жоғары дайындықта.
Interest in this sport is currently growing.
Қызығушылық танытатындар қазір артып жатыр.
Kuralay's sporting achievements alone would already be enough to fill a separate biography, but medals are only one part of her life. Few spectators in the stands realize that beyond the mat, the champion holds another role that is no less important or demanding. Kuralay Kabyraykyzy is a police captain serving in a special rapid response unit, the equivalent of SWAT. In such units, physical conditioning and combat skills are not sport, but an operational necessity. Here, her athletic gear is replaced by a uniform, and her training expands to include firearms handling alongside hand-to-hand combat. She also competes for the Ministry of Internal Affairs Combined Events team, feeling equally at ease in the ring and at the shooting range. For her, these are not separate worlds, but one continuous profession built on the same foundation. Both in sport and in the Tommy Rees Special Forces unit, of which she is also a member, everything rests on a single principle: order and discipline. It is this discipline that first began to form in her childhood, in her native village.
Мен ауылда жүрген кезде күреске барып, үйірмеге барып.
Yes, when I lived in the village, I was already wrestling and attending a club. That's when my journey began. My first coaches were Janice Stamgaziev, the late Bisimbaeva, and Nasib Kaliula. Thanks to their support and guidance, I started practicing in sports and competing. Later, I enrolled in a specialized boarding school for athletically gifted children in the city of Uralsk. There, I joined the Sambo program and trained. And in 2013, I finally graduated.
Kuralay came from the village of Akpater and enrolled in a boarding school in 7th grade. Only the very best students were and still are selected for this type of boarding school. It's no surprise that she achieved outstanding results thanks to her talent, hard work, perseverance, and strength of character. Her studies required willpower, character, and a sense of responsibility. She was a little girl from a remote village. She lived and studied at the boarding school while her parents were in a village 300 kilometers away. All of this also played a major role in her development and achievements. Life at a sports boarding school hundreds of miles from home taught Kuralay independence at an early age. While her peers were getting used to city life, she was getting used to grinding away on the mat every day. It was during this period that she came to realize that talent alone isn't enough. In any sport, discipline is the most important thing. And discipline starts with the coaches themselves. It's fair to say that the student's success is achieved through strict discipline. It means essentially professional commitment that includes daily training sessions twice a day. After graduating from high school, Kuralay didn't rest on her laurels. She earned 2 college degrees, one in sports and one in law. This foundation enabled her to make a conscious decision to join the military in 2017. It turned out that her impeccable posture, composure, and ability to take a hit honed by years of training are just as much in demand in special forces units as they are on the world stage.
Университет бітіріп жүрген кезде 4-ші курста мен жоспарлаған осындай мамандыққа кішкене маған келетін сияқты, екеме келетін сияқты.
When I was a senior, I started to feel that this profession was a good fit for me. I really liked it. In the end, during my final year, I took the tests, successfully completed all the recruitment stages, and was hired in 2017.
Қабылдандым. Негізі, екі жақты алып жүру сәл жауапкершілік талап етеді. Екеуі де өзінің ұнаған жұмысын болғаннан кейін оны
In reality, balancing both sport and work requires a lot of responsibility. But since I enjoy both activities, I give them my all. So even when it gets tough, it doesn't feel like a burden. Everything has to be planned, both work and competing. There's practically no time for rest. We try to travel to competitions and get our work done on time.
босауға или басқа бір демалуға деген сияқты ондай көп қабылданбайды. Сонымен жарысқа да шығуға тырысамыз, жұмысты да өз уақытында атқаруға.
People working in this field must always be ready 24 hours a day for any situation. But that doesn't get in the way of training. Whether at work or in sports, you always have to be fully prepared. Now our girls are inspired by her. There are those who say we want to work in this field and become just like Kuralay. Several girls are graduating from college this year and are preparing to start working in this field.
Безусловно.
Combat Sambo certainly helps. It's not just a sport, it's a training system that builds endurance, quick reflexes, and ability to stay in control, and the capacity to make decisions under pressure. These qualities are extremely important in operational work. Kuralay knows how to assess risks competently, react quickly in unusual situations, and most importantly, keep her cool. Therefore, her athletic experience isn't just a side story. It's a real tool that she effectively applies on the job.
Она эффективно принимает в службе.
Kuralay Kabyraykyzy is a member of the elite all-female Special Operations Unit known as Tommy Rees. The unit comprises some of the most highly trained female Special Operations personnel from all regions of Kazakhstan. The unit is named after the great steppe warrior Tommy Rees, who went down in world history thanks to her triumphant victories.
Томирис құрамасына екінші жыл биыл қатыстым, бірақ бірінші жылдан бастап бізде іріктеу өтеді.
Yes, this is my second year on the Tamariz team. I went through the selection process right from the start.
Жаңағы нормативтердің
32 women participated in the selection. We had to meet all the physical standards and pass the exams.
ату даярлығы тактикалық жағынан және физикалық тұрғыдан
We took tests in marksmanship, tactical training, physical fitness, and an obstacle course.
сол жерде біздің инструкторларымыз бәрі қабылдап, әркімнің деңгейін.
The instructors assessed our skill levels, compared us, and selected the best. Only after that did I make the team.
Сонымен біз жаңа іріктеуден өткеннен кейін ғана қабылдандым. Енді бірақ
The selection process is held every year. Last year, I went through it again and proved my skills.
жаңағыдай жаттығуларға сай нормативтерді орындап, тағы да өз қабілетімізді, өз күшімізді көрсетіп, тапсырып қабылдандық.
It is precisely teams like these that typically represent law enforcement agencies from various countries on the global stage. For Tommy Rees, the recent performance at the latest UAE SWAT Challenge in Dubai was a major highlight. The Kazakh women's team emerged as one of the tournament's biggest sensations. In the overall standings, our women competed on equal footing with men's teams from nearly 100 countries and ultimately finished the 18th. And among the women's teams, Tommy Rees emerged as the undisputed world leader. We've seen it online just how strong our Kazakh women are. What athletes from other countries can't do, our women do with ease. You could call it our national strength and spirit. Archery is also a tradition passed down to us from our ancestors. They achieved excellent results and we were all very happy.
Қуандықпыз бәріміз.
Various videos featuring our women went viral even during the competition. Millions of social media users were amazed by footage showing Kazakh women seemingly effortlessly accomplishing feats that in reality proved too difficult even for many male teams. Tommy Rees delivered results that forced global experts to reconsider their views on female special forces. The performance of the Kazakh Women's Special Forces unit in Dubai ultimately became an eloquent demonstration of the highest level of professionalism among women in special forces.
Өте керемет сезім. Жарыстың өзінде мысалы басқа ұлттың командалары, ер командалары,
It was an incredible experience. At the competition, representatives from other countries were truly amazed by our girls, the Tamariz team.
айтып жеткізу мүмкін емес. Енді результат көрсеткен сайын біз одан сайын енді бәрі таңғалды.
It's impossible to put these emotions into words. With every new result we achieved, their surprise only grew. And when we returned home, we were invited to Akurda, and the president personally presented us with our awards. It was a time of immense joy and excitement. I think it's everyone's dream to receive an award from the president and have their hard work recognized at such a high level.
Президенттен наградты алу, мысалға ойлаған мақсатыңды орындау, соның нәтижесін, еңбегін көру.
Конечно, это повод для общего.
Of course, this is a source of pride for all of us. When a colleague achieves outstanding results on the international stage, it inspires the entire team.
Мы воспринимаем
We view her successes as successes for the entire department. This boosts morale, strengthens team spirit, and even motivates other employees to engage in physical training. At the same time, we understand the hard work that goes into it, and we respect her as a professional both in sports and in her work. You could say that her achievements bring the team together and create an additional sense of unity.
сплоченности.
Kuralay's colleagues demonstrate the same level of trust, solidarity, and support when it comes to her athletic competitions. The unit understands that Kuralay's personal ambitions do not conflict with her duties, and the sober leadership sees her victories as a direct benefit to the unit. Each of her wins on the mat is public confirmation of the highest level of combat readiness among the officers. This support from the system means she doesn't have to agonize over choosing between duty and her dream, but can combine them for the sake of one great goal.
Қазір басшылардың қолдауымен жарыстарға жібереді. Сол бір жағынан қуантады.
There are no problems. The management supports us, and that's certainly encouraging when you get to pursue your goals and dreams.
Енді ол жеке дегенде жеке деп те айтуға болмайды, өйткені ол жерде де біздің Қазақстан.
Although there aren't exactly personal goals, after all, our main mission is to raise the flag of Kazakhstan. It also helps us do our jobs better.
Жаңа жұмыста да босаңсымай дұрыс атқаруға әкеледі негізі.
When the applause dies down and the spotlights of the world stage fade, Kuralay returns to where it all began, to the discipline and silence of the training hall. In her life of a police captain, there are no days off from one's own character. Few people realize that behind every moment of triumph lies months of living in a regime of relentless training and constant readiness, when personal time is almost always sacrificed to duty.
Жұмыстан кейін енді оқу-жаттығу жиын.
After work, we have training camps where we do about 2 workouts a day. Even on weekdays, I always make sure to find time to train every day.
Уақытта міндетті түрде жаттығуға арнаймын. Күн сайын.
Kuralay doesn't like to dwell on difficulties. In her words, it is not a reason to complain, but simply part of the job. She still remembers herself as a little girl from a remote village, traveling 300 kilometers away to a boarding school, clutching a gym bag in her hands. Back then, there were no medals or titles, but there was already that quiet inner core made of steel. Years later, whether stepping into the gym or heading out on a mission, she seems to carry that same childlike devotion to her goal. And perhaps not even her closest people could have steered her away from the path she chose.
Жоқ, ол кісілер енді біріншіден менің таңдауыма қарсы тұрмайды. Сонымен ол кісілер тек енді
My family didn't object to my choice. Of course, when I go to competitions or training camps, they worry that I might get injured, but overall, they're very supportive.
болмайды.
I can't quit. We have plans and goals. We're preparing for competitions.
Қатысуға
After the tournament in Dubai, we'll need to really focus on Sambo.
Kuralay has no plans to take a break from her schedule. Her impressive performance in Dubai was just another milestone for her. Rather than resting on her laurels, she has decided to tighten her kimono belt even further. She's in top form and continues to proudly represent the West Kazakhstan Sambo school.
Bizde Oralda sambo burundan
Sambo has long been well established in Uralsk. All the necessary conditions for training are now in place. We train in this gym and we have enough coaches. And this is reflected in our results. We have not just one, but several world champions training here.
Неге олай айтуға болады? Өйткені біздің осы залда бір емес, бірнеше әлем чемпиондарыбыз. Оралдан чемпион медальдар өте көп.
There are a lot of champions from Uralsk. Even now in 2026, we have 6 Kazakh champions. This allows us to field a strong team at world championships in various weight classes.
Әлем чемпионатына уже сонша салмақ қатысуға мүмкіндігіміз бар.
For Kuralay Kabyraykyzy, sporting ambitions have long ceased to be purely personal. They are part of her professional duties. In her framework, every international competition is as much a work assignment as a shift on duty. And while reigning champions train in the halls of Uralsk and a new generation rises behind them, the police captain continues to follow her own strict schedule. There is no room for chance in it, only a clear plan to keep rising the country's flag and to confirm the strong standing of Kazakhstan's Sambo school on the world stage.